Here's some bonus material, something you may or may not know how to do. If you're running low on time on the AP test and say you don't have time to do all of these calculations, you can actually use the calculator on the whole test. And if you read in your book like you're supposed to, it showed you how to do these tests in the calculator. So follow along with your calculator. First of all, I do have the data in my list 1 of the mean of the differences for the 9 people that we surveyed. And if I go to Stat and I scroll over to Tests, we are doing a 1 sample T test. A 1 sample T test. Now I can either use the data in list 1, okay? My data is in list 1. Or I can use stats that I recorded. Just in case you don't have the data and a certain FR, I'm going to go ahead and use the stats. What do we know? Well, we're assuming our null hypothesis is at 0. Okay, the mean difference is 0. Our sample data, our mean difference for our sample is 2.5 repeating. Our standard deviation is 1.81, and our sample size is 9. So I type all of that in if it's not already in there. Next thing I have to look at is my H of A. This row here is asking you, well, are you doing a two-tailed test where you're saying H of A does not equal the null hypothesis claim? Are you doing a less than test where you say your mu is less than the claim or greater than? Here we're looking at the mean difference is actually greater than 0. So when I press calculate, I get my test statistic, which we found, 4.23. There's a little bit of a rounding error there. It's 4.234. I get a p-value of 0.0014, which matches what we have. And it also gives me the standard deviation, the x-bar, and the sample size, which I had already typed in. So you can use the calculator to either check your work or use the calculator to bypass this material if you're running low on time, and then you can get right to the conclusion. Because our p-value is 0.014, because our p-value is low, less than our alpha, we will reject the null hypothesis.